Hello, and welcome to this Price of Job tutorial. In this video, we'll be discussing the Exterior Solid Walls module. To access the Solid Walls module, navigate to the Module toolbar and select the Walls category, and then expand the External Walls submenu. Here you can select Solid Wall and create the module. And this opens the Solid Wall module. Here we can set the area of our solid wall. If we know the area already, we can simply input it. As a reminder, when you input your area, make sure you input the area of the wall minus any openings like windows or doors. If you need some help in calculating this, you can use the Price of Job area calculator. This allows us to add the area of our wall. So in this case, we'll select a square shape for the side wall, and we'll set the length of this wall at 7 meters and the height at 3. And we can rename this section. We'll call this short wall. And then save this to our calculator. And because we have 2 short walls, we'll increase our quantity to 2. And then we can add another section of wall, again square. This one will be 10 meters in length by 3 meters in height. And we'll call this section long wall. And save this to the calculator. And again, increase our quantity to 2. And now we have our walls, but no subtractions for the openings. So let's go back into our shapes and select another square opening. This time we'll set the width at 0.5 meters and the height at 2. And we'll call this a door. However, rather than adding this to our area, we'll change the operator from a plus to a minus so that this area will be subtracted from our total. So now we can save this to our area calculator, increase our quantity to 3 doors, and we can see that our total area has been reduced from 102 down to 99. And now we'll do the same thing for our windows. And we'll just add some very simple windows here, 1 meter square. And again, we'll title this section Windows and change our operator from a plus to a minus because we'll be subtracting these openings from the area of our walls. Save that to our area calculator, increase the quantity to 10 windows, and that is removed from our total area. Now we can save this to our module, and the total area of our walls has been calculated here. If we need to go back and change any of our measurements, we can click Area Calculator again, and all of our work is saved, and we can modify these as necessary. Perhaps we miscounted the windows. We'll just subtract a window there and save. So now we have a total wall area of 90 square meters. Now we can choose the style of our solid wall, either aerated block, concrete block, engineering brick, or facing brick. Let's take a look at the aerated blocks. Here we have the stage for the aerated block solid wall, and we can choose whether we'll be using 100 millimeter thickness blocks, 140 millimeters, or 215 millimeters laid flat. Then we can select the cement to sand ratio, either 1:1, 1:2, 1:3, 1:4, or 1:6, and then choose the materials for our block. If the block will be supplied by client, we'll see that our estimate automatically updates to show that the blocks will be supplied by client, so therefore the cost of the materials will be 0. However, the labor for laying these bricks will be assigned to a bricklayer, and the total cost is calculated based on the quantity of bricks required. Additionally, Price of Job has automatically updated our description with a nicely written description showing that the aerated blocks will be supplied by client. However, labor is included here in the estimate. If, rather than supplied by client, we just choose to set an allowance so we can choose our blocks later, we can do so. And this lets us know that the aerated blocks have an allowance of £1.50 plus VAT each. And this allows us to defer our decision on the materials used to a later point, at which time we can calculate the difference in cost and update our invoice appropriately. If we choose to override the allowance amount, we can do so here. We can set that for £2 per block. And this highlights the estimate in yellow to show that we have an overridden value, as well as updating our automatic description. To reset this value back to the default, we can click the cog button here and click Reset to reset this back to the Price of Job default. If rather than using aerated blocks, we're using concrete blocks, the process is very similar. Again, we just choose the thickness of our block, either 100, 140, or 215 laying flat, our cement to sand ratio, and again the materials that we'll be using. If we're using engineering brick, the stage updates to show the engineering brick solid wall, and here we have to specify whether the thickness of our wall will be half a brick thick, and I'll just expand the sketch pane so we can have a closer look. Here is a half brick thickness wall, or we can set this for 1 full brick width, a brick and a half, or 2 bricks thick. And again, we set our cement to sand ratio and choose the class of bricks that we prefer to use. And if we're using facing brick, again, it's very similar. Choose the width of our wall, either half a brick, 1 brick, 1.5, or 2 bricks, and select our material. In any of these cases, we have extra stages here for a general laborer, and this is additional labor because the laying of the bricks has already been assigned to a bricklayer. So we know the total cost of laying these bricks. However, if you wish to have extra laborers on site, we can simply add a couple of extra laborers here, and then choose whether we'll need them for days, weeks, or months, and set the number of days, weeks, or months here, and the number of hours per day, and some general laborers are added to our estimate. Likewise, if we require any accessories, we can click on the Accessories tab, and choose from a variety of categories including wall starter kits, expansion joint foam, timber frame wall ties, damp-proof course, air bricks, additives, sealants, or cavity closers. If we require any accessories, just select the accessory that you wish to use by clicking on that, and it's automatically added to our estimate. So we'll just add some sealant and foam. And we can see that the labor has also been calculated to install these accessories. Now, if we take a look at our materials required here, we'll see that several of these are fractional values. So for example, a bulk bag of building sand, we require 20 1/4 bags. However, we'll not be able to purchase 0.23 bags. But if this module is combined with others that also require bulk building sand, these quantities will all be combined for us. However, if this is a smaller job and we just want to round this up to the next nearest whole number, we can do that manually by just overriding the value here. And this is now highlighted in yellow. Let's reset that back to its original. Because price a job makes it very easy to round this up to whole numbers. To do so, go to the Project Details pane by clicking the 3 dots here in the top to open Project Details, or the 3 cogs here down in the bottom left to open the Project Details window. Here across the top we have a variety of tabs including VAT and Profit, and if we scroll to the bottom of this tab, we have a section called Rounding. And this allows us to round our materials, labor, plant and tool, and other costs to the next nearest whole number. So to round the materials on this current project, we just simply select Round Materials. And we can see as soon as we do that, that our subtotals immediately update. If we deselect that, we can see the change again. So let's round our materials to the whole number, and now we can see that all of these fractional values have been rounded up to whole numbers. So we know exactly the quantity of materials we'll need to order. Just bear in mind though, because these have been rounded up, this is an overestimate, and to expect a bit of wastage. If you have another area that you need to calculate the same thing for, say for example an outbuilding, a fast way to calculate that would be to rename this existing module, let's just call this main, and now we can duplicate this module, and for the new module, we will rename it as well. We'll call this one outbuilding. And then we can just make the adjustments to the walls measurement. We'll just set the area here to 40 square meters. And now when we consult our quote here within the Reports tab, we can see that we have separate modules set for the solid wall main and solid wall outbuilding. Currently, this is just a simple quote that shows only the grand total. However, we can expand this to advanced, and this shows us the breakdown of all the materials, labor, plant, and tool. We also have the full ability to hide the description or materials or cost of labor of any of these to customize a quote however we wish. And that's how to use the Solid Walls module. Thank you for using Price a Job.